yeah, I'm like super happy to find a good workable oatmeal, raisin cookie recipe that's super easy, oil free, and takes like all of, I don't know, maybe like 10-15 minutes to prep if you have the peanut butter on hand. Hello everybody, welcome back to Conscientious Omnivore, a very sun-drenched in the kitchen Conscientious Omnivore. Today I'm very excited to share with you guys a new recipe that we recently just discovered, and we've made it once. Slight variation of this, but I'm very, very excited to share this with you. I always used to love eating oatmeal raisin cookies back in the day, and I've kind of messed around with some impromptu recipes that I've come up with myself, and they've been kind of edible, but not really great. So yeah, this time around I actually went and looked up a real recipe. You guys know that I'm not huge into following recipes, but for this one I said, okay, I'll bite the bullet and get an actual recipe. And I've modified it slightly, but to my liking. I'm going to share it with you guys, and I'll share the link where I got the recipe from as well. So shout out to them for putting it together and giving me the inspiration. So what have we got here? We have the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients. I'm going to explain them in a second here. So what have we got in the dry? We got 2 cups of oats. We have half a cup of oat flour. I've just made this myself. I just put the oats into our little handy dandy coffee grinder and just ground it up to a nice oat flour there. Last time I made this I just used regular plain white flour. Came out fine too, but like if you use only the oats, it will be gluten free. So if anybody wants a gluten free recipe specifically, you can just make your own oat flour at home. It's super cheap. Don't go and buy it at the store, it's like crazy expensive. Okay, then what else do we have? We have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. We have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. We have half a teaspoon of salt. And optionally, if you wanted, you could obviously add other stuff like coconut flakes or raisins or things like that. My family, most of the people, pretty much everyone besides me doesn't like raisins in like cookies and pastries. So what I'm going to do is I'll just add some in at the end, and then I'll just bake those for myself. But yeah, basically you could just add whatever else. If you have like craisins or other kind of like dried fruit bits, or you wanted to add chocolate chunks or something like that, that would be fine too. And then for the wet ingredients, we've got half a cup of peanut butter. I just made that this morning with a stick blender, and I am going to be using dates for sweetening. So what I've done is I've just pitted 6 really big nice dates here. I'm going to top this up with some water, and I'm going to let those sit, and then I'm going to blend this together. That is going to be my sugar. I'm too cheap to buy date flour, or date sugar I should say, but that would be another thing you could just use if you wanted to keep it all whole foods, instead of using regular sugar. I'm also making a egg replacement with flax. So this is ground flax seeds, and what you do is I have 2 heaping spoonfuls. I'm going to add roughly about 3 times the amount of water and then let that sit. I'll show it to you guys. I've done it in other videos, you've probably seen it, but yeah, you just let that sit. It'll get kind of nice and, I don't know, kind of like this like thick gooey consistency. That's going to be kind of our egg replacer. And then optionally you can add some vanilla or some other kind of like essence of something if you wanted to, but I'm going to skip that. So that's pretty much it. I got my raisins off to the side. Like I said, let's get to it. And the last thing I mentioned is while I was getting this ready, I'm prepping the oven. It's at 350 Fahrenheit, which is about 176 Celsius. So that's getting preheated. What we are going to do is get the egg ready and the dates ready, and then I'm going to mix all those wet ingredients together. I'll show that to you next. Alright, so you can see the flax seeds have become really kind of like thick. It's almost like a pudding. And you can see that the dates have gotten really soft as well. I'm going to actually pour off some of this water. It's really like sugary and sweet. You could either just drink it or make it into a tea or pour it on something else. I just don't know how much of this water I actually need when I'm mixing up the ingredients. So I'm going to pour off the water, and then I'm just going to blend it using the stick blender like this. And I'll show that to you guys next, and we'll dump it all together in the peanut butter. So that's what we got. I've mixed up the dry ingredients. And now I'm going to add the wet ingredients in here, mix it up with the spoon as much as I can, but then after that I'm going to get in there with my hands. I found that last time when I did this, I just couldn't get the consistency to be, you know, kind of even throughout if I wasn't kind of going to get in there and knead it by hand. Your mileage may vary. I will show you guys the texture that I'm going for, and potentially I might need to add some of that water, but probably not. So right now this is looking actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out pretty decent. I'll show it to you in a second. This is the consistency you're going for. You can see it's kind of sticky to the touch, but not like crazy sticky. You can form into these nice little ball shapes. The recipe I used, they said you could use like an ice cream scoop or whatever, but I just, you know, formed them into little ball shapes like that with my hands. You put them onto a baking sheet with some baking paper, and then I just pressed them flat with my hand. So that's what I'm going to do. And there's actually like kind of a side story here, because my wife actually enjoys the taste of this just as it is without even baking it. And you can certainly eat this raw. There's nothing in here that would, you know, make you sick, which is also just maybe one of the other many benefits of you know, of vegan cooking. There's no like raw egg to worry about or anything else that's going to give you salmonella. So that's pretty nice, and they do taste amazing. So I've been kind of just giving it a little taste test here and there, and it's great. So I mean, if you wanted to, you could just make these little like balls a little bit smaller maybe, and then roll them into like you know, coconut shavings or like cocoa powder or carrot powder, so that they're not so sticky, and just put them out on a tray. They would make a great little dessert, you know, for like a party or anything like that. And of course baking them is great as well. So I'm going to leave some raw at the end, just to enjoy that way as well. But I'll show you guys the next step. We're going to throw this in the oven after I got the tray loaded up, and we're going to give it about a good 10 to 12 minutes, and then I'll check it. I think last time I did it, it was right around like 13-14 minutes and they were done. Probably, maybe they were even a little bit too done, so I'm going to check maybe after like 10 minutes and take a look. I'll show it to you. So I'm all done baking. It is no longer sunny. We are actually having a bunch of rain right now, but nothing beats a rainy day with some nice oatmeal cookies. I got all the raisin ones at the end here. They came out amazing. If we didn't eat so many of them raw, and I still have a few left here, this would be pretty much about full. So I don't know whatever that serving size is, but it's a pretty decent sized bowl, just in case anybody's wondering. It came out to about like just under 2 trays worth, so you can probably do the math or look at the video and count, but that's about how many I ended up with last time. This time I just got 1 tray plus I think maybe a handful more on the second tray, but we did have a bunch that we just left raw. So yeah, you can see the cookies come out really good. Pick one of the ones with the raisins here. Nice and you know, crumbly, plenty of moisture in there. No you know, no artificial ingredients, nothing weird. Everything's pretty much whole foods. Really healthy, really good for you guys. And yeah, just I'm like super happy to find a good workable oatmeal, you know, raisin cookie recipe that's super easy, oil free, and takes like all of, I don't know, maybe like 10-15 minutes to prep if you have the peanut butter on hand. So it's like, it's pretty crazy. Like I'm really happy with this thing. My wife said it's her favorite like new recipe that we've come across in a while. So yeah, give it a shot. Let me know what you guys think, or if you have a better oatmeal cookie recipe, let me know. But this came out pretty amazing. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.